Mm.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, everybody? Yeah,
Absolutely.
you
I
feeling
want to
good?
welcome everybody to the Real Talking Real Estate Podcast,
Absolutely.
where we give real talk, straight, no chaser on here. Absolutely.
Real
As my
talk.
man put his specs on really
I got
quick.
to put them on, man. I can't see nothing, Doc. I be trying to keep it young looking, and be walking around here can't see nothing, running into walls and everything. I was like, God, but hey, it's all good.
Absolutely, man.
Well, how you feeling this week, man? You feeling good?
Man, it's a good week, man. Every day's a good day, man. I'm
Every
blessed
day.
and highly favored, brother.
Yeah. You're looking good over there.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, man. You doing your thing,
Grinding.
man.
Man, we grinding. We grinding.
That's what
We're
I'm talking
excited,
about.
man. I'm excited about today's show.
Yep.
When
Yep.
we had an opportunity, when you were telling me about it, and we had an opportunity to kind of sit down with our guests.
Absolutely.
At first, I didn't kind of get the concept, and but when we sat down, she made sure that we understood exactly what was going on. So when I walked out of that office, I was like, yeah, gotta have her on board, gotta do it. So I'm excited.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, like we said, man, on this show, man, we give it to you real. We don't cut any corners.
No corners.
So yeah, you listen to the Real Talking Real Estate Podcast, and I mean the guests we have today, man. Wow. And what can I say? 20 years in the business,
Right.
licensed real estate broker, licensed real estate instructor, certified executive coach. She's got this little brokerage called Game Changers,
A
and
little brokerage here in the Florida area.
yeah, I mean, and I would say little, but it's big because of the
Can't
impact
let a
it's
little
making in the
bucket thing.
business.
Yeah.
And I think her and Melissa started this brokerage a couple years ago, and it's making a big impact on agents. And that's why it's called Game Changer, man. It's definitely a game changer, something different than anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Um,
The
so yeah,
focus is
and
different. The focus is different. You
absolutely.
know.
Focus is very
Yeah.
different, very out the box thinking. So definitely want to hear about how
Mhm.
this got started.
Yeah.
Superpower she has, man, communication, strategic, very futuristic. And also another fun fact about it, she's married to my man, Mr. Jeff Henry, big dog. If you're
That's your
listening,
boy.
man,
That's your
what's up?
guy. That's
Yeah,
your
that's
guy.
my dude, man.
That's
That's my
your guy.
guy, man. That's my dude,
That's
man.
what's up. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
absolutely, man. So yeah, man, let's get this young lady on the show, man.
Let's do it.
Assad Jen Henry.
Miss Jennifer Henry. Clap it up, y'all. Clap it up. Give it up. Give me some love. Give some two snaps and a clap. Get some, yeah, all that. All that.
Loving it. Loving
Yes.
it,
Absolutely.
guys.
Welcome. Welcome to the
Thank you.
show. You
Thank you
looking good
guys for
over there?
having me. I feel so honored. This is so fancy. I love it.
Yeah. We try to do our thing over here, but you're doing some amazing things over here. So we, in comparison to what you're doing, we're just not getting started.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
don't know, man. It takes all kinds at all different levels to get this real estate industry in line.
Yeah. That's good.
Got you.
Well, what we doing? We jumping right in, Maurice?
Yeah, let's jump right into it. So tell us 20 years ago how this thing got started with
Get
you.
started.
Like good.
Who is Jennifer Henry?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an ordinary girl with a big vision and a life calling. I think we all have that. I'm just really aware of mine. I've been aware of my life purpose since I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I've never wanted to live a life that didn't have meaning. So I've basically lived my whole life striving for some significance and meaning. And it's important to me to die leaving a legacy of what I did with my unique skills on this planet. That's really who I am.
Wow.
And it shows up in a lot of different ways, and you guys are just getting to talk today about one of them and what I get to do in this arena. It's so much fun.
Sure. Where's home? Where are you from?
Yeah, where you from?
Well, I'm originally from nowhere. I'm a missionary kid and a military brat.
Okay.
So
wow.
I don't really have Jacksonville, Florida is what I call home because I've been here longer than I've been anywhere else in my entire life. I've been here since 2005. But I was born in Florida. Then I lived in Spain for many years because I was a missionary kid. I lived in Japan. So I really am one of these kind of transient people that kind of grew up everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been here since 2005 in Jacksonville.
Got you. And so dad, mom was in the military?
They were, and then they became missionaries. They still are missionaries.
And they're still, till this day, they're missionaries till this day.
We've been there. They've been there since 1987.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was a really big part of who I am today because I learned how to adapt, how to think differently. I learned a second language. I learned a lot of my skills that I use today. I honed when I was a missionary kid. because we had to do presentations to churches for our support. And I had to shake hands and kiss babies at like age 12.
Yes.
So I learned a lot about presentation. I learned a lot about how to hold myself and how to present myself, just in that time of my life when I really had to be a representative for my parents in their work and their mission.
Wow.
So I've been kind of doing this my whole life, if you will.
Okay.
So did you ever have aspirations to go into the mission field? Did you ever have?
Well,
okay, let's talk about
I resented the life my parents subjected me to until I was about 33 years old.
Okay.
I saw it as something that had held me back my whole life, and I rejected the whole idea that I would ever be in ministry, ever. But what's really interesting is God has a funny way of bringing us around. Wow. Because I really feel like what I do is my ministry. I feel like I get to minister to people where they're at through the platform of real estate every single day. So yeah, I said I wasn't going to do it, but God has a funny way of bringing us back to what
we call that marketplace ministry, right?
That is exactly right. That's and exactly I do it every single day here. Every single day.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So growing up, did you not, that's kind of hard because I know you're in the mission area, in the mission field. How did you get involved in the real estate game?
I was an accident. It was a total accident. I didn't know I was going to be a realtor. I was a stay-at-home mom, and my husband at the time wanted me to list and sell his spec homes because he was building spec homes. And he's like, hey, I don't want to pay the realtor anymore. You're just stay-at-home mom doing nothing. Why don't you get your license and sell? And this was in the state of Missouri. This was in 2003. I was pregnant with my son. And that's why however old he is how long I've been in the industry. Oh, wow. Because I got my license when I was pregnant with him in 2003. Sold spec homes. That's what I did is I just listed and sold his houses. And then he moved for his job to Florida. And when I moved here, I'm like, well, if I could sell real estate there, I can sell real estate here. So I got my license in 2005 here in Florida. And I've just been doing it ever since, except for this 2-year window where I quit. I quit for 2 years.
Let's talk about that. Why did we quit?
I quit because I thought I was no good at it. I was frustrated. I was broken. I didn't have training. I didn't have coaching. I didn't know what to do. And I had been spinning in circles for years because I got a divorce. And that left me financially burdened. And when you need money and you don't know what you're doing in real estate, I was broke. And I had the most homes I'd ever sold in 1 year were 7 homes in 1 year. And that was not going to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I obviously am no good at this. So I'm going to quit real estate. But it was all I was qualified for at that point. And so 2 years later, when I was broker than when I quit, I'm like, well, I'm going to go back. I'm going to try it again. And this time I aligned myself with training and coaching and people that really poured into me. And that year I sold 21 homes. So yeah, I tripled my business that year just because the key difference being training and coaching. So that's really what fuels what I do here is I like to say I was going in circles for 7 years with my license. I didn't know what to do for 7 years. 7 years.
Wow. That's a long time.
Sidelines. Yeah, a long time. So that's why I do what I do, because I want to help people figure this out sooner, figure out whether or not this is for them or not. It isn't for everyone. And so my goal and mission is to really just expose people to what this industry really is, give you the training you need right away so you're not goofing around. And you get to decide for yourself, is this for me? And am I going to go all in, or is this not for me? And I'm going to go ahead and go back to my job, or I'm going to, pivot or whatever at that point. But figure it out sooner than I did. And less frustration.
Got you. So now, Jen, you said that you quit for 2 years. What year was this?
This would have been 2010, 11.
Okay, but prior to that, we had a big market crash. There was no quitting then.
Yeah.
I'm kind of help me understand.
That was part of it too. That was part of it too. I was coming out of that, but the big key difference for me was my need changed. I could be in a market crash with a husband who made all the money, and I didn't need to make money.
Right.
Because when I was working here in Florida selling real estate, that's the part I forgot to tell you. I didn't need the money. And any closing that I had, I just bought more bags and more girls trips. Like that's what
Right. Right.
I didn't need the money,
Sure.
So the need changed. So when I
Right.
got divorced, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to work. Like I'm going to have to do this now. And that's when the rubber met the road and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do business.
Gotcha.
So that was 2011, 2012.
Somewhere 10 and 11, probably
Right.
more realistically. 10 and 11 is when I kind of stepped out. Now, I stayed in real estate in that I worked at a W-2 for a real estate team.
Got
Okay.
it. Okay.
So I was an admin working
Okay.
$12, making $12 an hour.
Mhm.
Wow.
And I thought that was more secure than, the commission income that
Right.
I could have earned. And I'll tell you, the breaking point for me was I took a job working for the Christine Lee team, which to this day I credit for my success. I started working for the Christine Lee team as her listing manager, making, an hourly plus bonuses. And this bonus that she promised me was significant. It was like $250 if I got her 12 listing appointments, because I was her listing manager. I was also calling for appointments for her. And that month I got her 12 listing appointments.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I made my little bonus and I was really happy. And then I did the math and I was like, wow, if those had been my listings, what am I doing? I have a license. What am I actually doing? So I went to Christine, and thank God she's the leader that she is. I went to her and I told her this. I said, Christine, I'm having a hard time with this because I realized I can get listing appointments. Like, why wasn't I doing this for me? And she's like, okay, we'll do it for you. She said, quit your job, quit this listing manager job, and go all in and go put your license here, and I'll train you and I'll teach you. And that's what I did. And I had 90 days of income in the bank to survive on.
Mhm.
And I spent every last dime of that getting my business back up and running. And it took me 90 days. And at the end of that 90 days, I was out of money. And the one closing that I had ready to close that was going to save me from this problem fell apart at
Wow.
the last minute.
Uh-huh.
So I had a come to Jesus moment with myself. And I remember very clearly sitting in my car, pulling into my driveway and just sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I don't have any money. I'm out of money. I cannot ask the ex for any money. I don't know what to do. But I remember the defining moment for me was this thought: what other choice do I have?
Ooh.
I had no other choice.
Mhm.
And even though that's a really gut punch, it's also the defining moment that made me go all in and say, well, if you have no other choice, you're going to have to work with what you've got, girl.
Yeah.
Get up and go do it. So I got up the next day and went and just kept put my one foot forward, next foot. And I got another closing on the books, and I made over $100,000 that year.
Wow.
So how?
hold on, Chris. I'm gonna ask you a question now.
That's a lot
I
right
wanna
there.
ask this really quick, because you have said something that a lot of people, the majority of people being on this podcast, say is their backs up against the wall. Like
Mhm.
they have no other choice. It's either they're going to make it in real estate or they're just going to go back to a W-2 job.
Yep.
Do you feel that is the key thing that is missing from these agents that are coming to the business now, compared to you said yourself, hey, it's either I'm going to make it or I'm not?
Yep.
Is that what's missing in their mindset nowadays?
Well, I think that I like to say you got to burn the boats. You cannot, if you have a backup plan to get back on a boat and go back, if you're going to go back, if you have a choice to go back, you'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have a choice, you're forced to do things you wouldn't otherwise do.
Mm-hmm.
You're forced to think creatively. You're forced to think spontaneously. You're forced to do things you wouldn't otherwise do for the sake of survival.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't recommend anyone being irresponsible with their money or their finances or their marriages or their anything, be responsible. But any way that you can cut the tethers to the things that are holding you back, cut them. Because for me and everybody that I've coached that's done it, that has been a defining moment for them to say, this is me showing this business that I really want this. This is me being serious and saying, I'm going all in, and I'm cutting all of the ties to the things that were my backup plans. Your backup plan is probably your biggest enemy.
Okay. I guess Kobe said it best when he says there's no plan B.
Exactly.
Okay.
If there's a plan B, that means you've already decided plan A can fail.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
That's good. So how long did it take you? Because you talked about that 90 days and you were completely broke. And that's when you sat in your car, you made that you had that moment where you said, okay, what are we going to do? How long did it take you from that point to the next point where you're saying, okay, I got this now?
It took me another month to get
Month.
another contract. And in that month, my electricity got turned off. I ate hot dogs for a solid week. I sold my computer. I pawned my wedding ring. I pulled out all the stops. So when I say I had no other choice, it was like, okay, what do I have to work with to just survive another month? And so it took me another month to get a contract. And that month was biting my nails down to the quicks and,
Wow.
and not sleeping. But I also look back at that time of my life, and I'll tell you, I'm thankful for it because it prepared me for other things I was going to have to do in my life moving forward. Even scarier things than that. Now that I look back, that was easy compared to the decisions I've had to make to open this company and to do other things that I've wanted to do with my life. It takes tremendous risk. And that was me kind of learning what risk felt like and proving to myself that I could survive that and that I could find a way through it. In fact, I could be better for it. And so I'm thankful for that time. Even though it was really painful, I'm really thankful for it.
Got you. So would you say that if you had not had that experience, you would not be where you are today?
I would not.
Okay.
I absolutely wouldn't. I had to do that. And there have been moments that felt similar that I'm like, oh, I remember this feeling. I recognize this. Oh, hi, you. I recognize you. We're good. You're not going to take me down. You didn't take me down last time. You're not going to take me down this time.
Yeah.
So
Can you share with us a memorable time in your life where those thoughts came to you and you had to have that come to Jesus moment again?
Yeah.
Can you share with us a moment?
I sure can. It was last September when I realized that my brokerage had grown as much as it was going to grow in the location that we were in. And that I was going to have to take a leap of faith for the new location. And, anybody that's been in business for a minute knows that there's always entrepreneurial leaps you have to take to get to where you want to go. And there is no just easy path. You just walk down and things, just doors open. You have to take leaps. And so it was in last September when I started really talking about moving, and I started having those thoughts and feelings of like, oh, that's burning the boat. Like signing a 5-year lease when my company really on paper can't afford it yet seems kind of stupid, like the stupidest thing I could ever do. But you know what? I'm stupid, so I did it. And I signed a lease in February, and that signing of that lease really felt like that moment again where I'm like, I just put myself back in that car looking kind of at my career going, I have no other choice other than to make this work. And there have been moments in the last 6 months where this rent payment has been really challenging, but I'm doing it for the bigger cause. And I've never regretted it because it did exactly what I knew it would do. It's helped us grow. And, they say, build it and they will come. That's happening now. And so I knew I had to take that entrepreneurial leap. And it's been scary because I'm a personal guarantor on this lease. And so I have no choice. I cannot fail. And while it's not as dramatic because it wasn't as scary because I made a bet on me. And the thing that I made the bet on has already proven that it's a safe bet. You know what I mean? So even though it's scary, it doesn't feel as dramatic because I've been here, I've done this, and I'm going to survive this. And it gets me through those entrepreneurial leaps. And I've got some other bigger ones coming up that I'm going to have to take that scare the crap out of me.
Got you. So let me ask you this then. So you've given us how you've got over a major obstacle, things that have happened to you in your life that have got you over the hump. What sense or what how can I phrase this? How do you react to those agents that you've coached, that you've worked with, or you're currently working with, whatever they be, when they come to you with excuses of why they can't be successful, and you look at them like, are you kidding me? How do you approach those situations? And I see the look on your face right now.
No, I just had a big conversation with one of my agents today about that word, excuses. So I'll give. This is real talk, right? Real talk.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. This is exactly what I say to my agents and those that I coach. It's literally, as the leader of this organization and as who I hope to be a thought and energy leader in people's lives, I tell them when they agree to come to this brokerage or agree to be in coaching with me or agree to our training program or anything that they're in business with me, this is the agreement I make with everyone. And that is this. I care about you. However, I do not care about why you can't show up. I don't care. If I cared, you're making me the judge over your future.
That's good.
So what I mean by that is this. When an agent says, hey, Jen, I can't do this because, I don't know, I have a flat tire. You're putting me in a position to say that's a good excuse or a bad excuse. I don't want that authority in your life. That's your authority. That's your decision. Is this a good excuse to not show up or not? That is your decision, not mine.
Gotcha.
What I am going to do is hold space for you to rise to the occasion, and I'll be there for you, and I will have my best self put forward for you to engage with or the environment I've created for you.
Okay.
But when it comes to excuses, we have a sign on our door that says this is a no excuse zone. What that means is life is happening to all of us. What's happening to you is no worse than what's happening to anyone else. In fact, I would argue that the minute you decide to go all into real estate, more stuff is going to happen in your life. Be prepared for that because it's going to make you prove that you want this. And so you got to be ready to face those excuses. And so, life's going to show up. The dog's going to get sick. The car's going to break down. The husband's going to lose his job. These things are going to happen. You cannot give them validity or they will control your life. So you just take their power away. You have to take their power away and say, no matter what, I show up.
Gotcha.
And, as a coach, I'm trained to do this two-tiered approach to people, and that's called care and candor.
Gotcha.
You care with candid conversation. Like you have to be open and tell people, hey, that's a BS excuse. I care about you, but I also care about your future. And I care more about your future than I care about your reasons today. And as a leader, that's what I believe agents need. And that is how I behave to the best of my ability, even though it's really hard sometimes.
Yeah.
So speaking on challenges, we deal in the real estate industry. Like you said, there's often ups and downs, closings that don't happen, buyers are going to somebody else, sellers don't do what they say they're going to do. How have you found it, Jennifer, to stay so motivated and positive during those challenging times?
When motivation wanes, discipline kicks in. Motivation, if an agent is waiting for motivation to do the things they need to do, they're not going to even take a step forward because motivation is waning, man.
Wow.
Motivation is dependent on the weather, dependent on your nutrition, dependent on how much sleep you got, dependent on who believes in you and who doesn't. Like motivation cannot be the driver for your actions.
Right.
It's a kickstart. But when motivation wanes, that's when discipline has to kick in. And that's when I believe when discipline kicks in and you do the things you know you do, motivation follows. Confidence follows. Belief in yourself follows because you now are confident that you are someone who keeps your commitments to yourself. Right. That's the result of discipline. So in the absence of motivation, you have to have discipline.
Gotcha.
Now, can you motivate yourself? Sure. No, I bet you two are really well-versed at self-motivation, but I believe the vast majority of the population does not self-motivate well.
Right. Right.
I believe that with a few thought pattern changes, you can motivate yourself in an instant. I think you can change your body posture and motivate yourself in an instant. I believe that most people don't realize the power they have to be able to change their thoughts and instantly change the way they feel. In fact, motivate themselves. Most people don't know how to do that. I teach that here a lot. And I challenge people in their thinking and their patterns a lot. So once you start doing it, you start realizing you have that power to do it. But until then, you just kind of have to have discipline to get you through it until the motivation follows.
That's good.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So Jennifer, we talked about your struggles. We talked about you going through your real estate career. What was your aha moment of where you said, I got this. I can kill this. I can really be in this game and do well in this business.
Right.
It was shortly in the middle. It was shortly after that. when I started seeing like my first and second, maybe third closing back in my, my comeback time.
I like it.
Yeah. I started going, oh, I can do this. Like I can do this. I can have 2, 3, 4 closings a month and really build the life I want to build for my family. And I started rising to the top agent on that team. Every month I started getting the top agent awards. My motivation, honestly, I don't think I have anything special. I just think I was so driven to succeed because of the pain I had been in and how broke I had been and how embarrassed I had been to my kids that I hadn't been the mom I thought I needed to be to them. And all those drivers were driving me to be better. And so that motivation that was a time in my life when I was just motivated. It was just happening for me. But, there were definitely days I didn't feel it, but I showed up anyway. And I knew that it would work. But I would say, honestly, guys, within that next 3 to 4 months, it clicked for me. And I saw my future in this forever. Like I saw it.
Okay.
You said one of the words that you just used, top realtor. As a top realtor, Jennifer, how have you managed or ensured that you provide your clients the best possible service? What things have you put in place to ensure you provide your clients the best possible service?
Well, to be transparent, I don't sell anymore. So for anybody listening that wants to look up my production, you're gonna be like, this girl's a liar.
He ain't selling nothing.
I don't sell anymore. All my sales are through other people.
Okay.
So to me, the only way to provide top-notch service by multiplying yourself and not just work with one client at a time, systems. You have to have systems and processes for everything. And that's what we help our agents do here is have systems for their schedules, have systems for their follow-ups, have systems for their lead generation. It's all about the rinse and repeat of what you can do well over and over and over again that produces massive results. So it's systems. And if you're dependent on your memory to remember everything you need to do in a given day, you're going to fail at about 5 things that you need to do that day. You've got to have systems in place. You've got to have reminders. You've got to have leverage in place to help you remember what you need to be doing, who you need to follow up with. It's systems.
Right.
Leverage.
Right. Maurice, you and I were just talking about, forgetting and relying on my own memory and putting some things in place. We were just talking about that conversation yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I was just mentioning to Chris, and I know you can probably attest to this. I mean, time blocking. Me personally, I do time block. I work from a checklist. It's the same checklist every day. Prospect, follow up with clients, post on social media. So those are the regular things that I do every day. So I'm sure that's probably the same thing or close to what you're teaching, because it's all, and you are Coach Josh, and he's guided me on my career, and it's pretty much the same thing over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day. You're doing the same thing over and over again.
Success is not super sexy when you're in the middle of it. It really isn't. You have the highs, you have the closing, you have the time the phone rings 3 times in the day with new customers. Those are rare. I mean, you guys know that the highs in this business are rare.
Right.
The monotony of success is exactly that. It's boring and it's monotonous and it's not very sexy. So you have to get used to that and realize that it's compounding and you don't even know it.
Gotcha. Wow. So let me ask this, Jen. So at what point did you realize, okay, I've done enough real estate. Let me pivot and start coaching people.
Guys, I love that I get to talk about my defining moments because it was another defining moment.
Okay.
I had been selling back in my comeback for a couple years. Okay. And I'd started my own team at this point.
Okay.
And so I ventured out and did my own thing and I was selling. And I was happy selling. I was good at it. I could have done so much more if I'd wanted, but I never really blew it up to the next point. But the office administrator asked me to come teach a class on how to work with buyers because at that time I was killing it with buyers. And I had a system for my buyers that I was working really kind of religiously. And he asked me to come teach it. And it was standing in front of that classroom, teaching my very first real estate class. Standing there, I looked at this room and I thought to myself, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. It was another defining moment. And I left that classroom. And I went to him and I said, how can I do more of that? And he was like, well, just let me know. He started putting me on the calendar. Slowly but surely, the passion for that started overriding the passion to sell. And within 6 months, I had completely turned over my book of business to my new husband, Jeff, the husband I'm married to now.
Yeah.
And he was running my sales business, and I went full into coaching. And I opened a program inside of that brokerage called Game Changers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
And that program ran for 3 years, and that brokerage became #1 in Jacksonville through that program. Through a leadership shift, all my agents that were in the program were insulated, never left, stayed productive, even though there was major upheaval in the office, and really grew. That's where I met Josh.
Okay.
So really this conversation is a result of that 10 years ago,
Wow.
almost 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's really where that started. And that's how I'm here today.
Wow.
Got you.
How did we come up with the name Game Changers? What was, do you remember?
I don't remember. I do know that I wanted to name the program because at that point it was the productivity program. And I was like, that's boring. I want to brand it. I want a brand. I want a brand that says what we are. And so I started thinking, I want to help people change their game. My game was changed.
Right.
Life was changed. I went from being a very dependent woman, dependent on a husband. No, not dissing anybody that's dependent on a husband. But when that changed for me, a divorce, that didn't work. And I went from being that dependent woman to completely transforming and really realizing the potential within me, or a good portion of it. I mean, through the game of real estate. Real estate did that. So I wanted to do that with other people. I wanted to help other people. If I can do it, you can do it. Right. And so that's where the name came up. And then what's really cool is Josh, to speak of Josh again,
that's my dude. Go ahead.
We're talking about Josh Rogers, by the way.
Yeah.
Josh Rogers.
He came up to me and said, Jen, you need a hashtag. And I was like, what's a hashtag? He's like, you need a hashtag. In everything we do, we need to hashtag it. And so I'm like, okay, well, what would it be? And he's the one that came up with hashtag GCERZ. The letter Z, Jesus. And he came up with that now. So if anyone listening wants to go look that up on Facebook, you can see the history of years of stuff that my agents were doing, because I taught them to tag the program in every single thing they did.
Oh, wow.
And so that's where it got. And then, Game Changers was quiet for a while. So after 3 years, the management of that office changed, and they came in, and for reasons I won't talk about here, asked me to become the team leader broker of a failing office. And at that point, it was like, I didn't feel like I had any other choices. So I did that for a year and a half, and Game Changers kind of died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it died for a little while, but it came back 2 years ago as a brokerage, as my own.
Got you. Okay. You got a question, Chris?
Let's talk about the market. Let's talk about the market, and you're dealing with these agents. Is there anything unique about our particular market that you feel that's very challenging for these agents? What do you see going on in our local market?
Well, the market we're referring to is Jacksonville, Florida, in St. Augustine. Yeah. Personally, I've been in the real estate industry for 20 years. I love our market. I love this market we're in. I am comfortable in this market. The reason being is because I feel like it's a fair market for buyers and sellers equally. So prior to this, as we all know, we were in the COVID market where things were so polarized that buyers literally had absolutely no negotiating power whatsoever. And sellers were asking for your right arm, your right eye, and your firstborn. Buyers were giving it, right? So that unbalance was very disconcerting to me, because I did that before when we had 2004, 2005. When I bought my house in Florida in 2005, there was that same frenzy feeling of like, oh my God, what's going on here? Buy a house, spend it however much money you need, get whatever kind of mortgage you need, buy a house, because there was one house on the market when I came to Florida and I bought it. Like, that was the market back in 2005. This felt very similar. And I knew where that landed us, right? So when this happened, I said it. I'm like, this is not going to last. There's going to be a major backlash from this, and we're going to have to normalize. Well, guess what? We're doing that. We're normalizing. Yeah. So I love this market because as an educator in this industry, I feel like it's going to push out the people who don't have skills and don't want to learn skills. I think that in this market, you're going to have to understand how to lead generate. You're going to understand how to have to win a listing. You're going to understand how to have a buyer go into a buyer system that doesn't kill you. Okay. So you're going to have skills. So agents, invest in yourselves. Find a coach. Get your goals. Find 2 or 3 lead generation activities you can do on rinse and repeat and become the master at them and become better than anybody else at them. And don't quit doing them just because they're not working right away. Keep doing them until they start working. And learn how to become the master of your skills. That is what this market is going to demand of us as agents.
Gotcha.
Does that answer your question?
That's good. Yeah. What advice would you give agents, new agents, on how to stay current in the industry trends and innovations and help them, keep ahead of all their competition? What advice would you give?
Well, first of all, study your market statistics. So here at Game Changer Realty, we pull our market statistics. We talk about them. We have a daily, what we call film room, that all the agents come in. It's kind of like a power hour. And every single day we study a market statistic in Duval or St. Johns County. So we're studying the market. I want my agents, and I believe every listener here should aspire to this. If someone stops you in Publix, you should be able to, and they ask you how the market is, you should be able to answer with a market statistic. Well, the average days on market is 35 right now, as of this month, 35 days on market, which is up 72% from this time last year. Like, those are the kind of conversations you need to have, not like, oh, it's good or it's bad. Like, that's what the news is going to tell you. Why don't you give people real facts?
Yeah.
So number one, know your stats. Okay. It's really easy to find on the MLS. I'm referring to our MLS, but any MLS of anyone listening right now, go in your MLS, pull your market stats, find out how to do it, make it easy, put it on rinse and repeat and study them. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, I really, truly believe that you have got to figure out a niche that you are good at, and you've got to master that. Figure it out. All of us have one. You guys are in yours right now. It's your podcast. It's that's your thing. You're using that skill that you have to grow your business, right? I have a podcast too. That's what I use too. Find one thing that you can love doing and go all in with that thing using your niche. I'm going to give you an example. One of my agents he's not semi-pro. I call him semi-pro. He's a semi-pro pool player. And dude, build your business around pool.
Right.
Create videos, create tutorials, tie it into real estate. Like whatever has momentum in your life, build your career around that and make it fun and be real doing it. That's what people want. They want you to be real. They want to see you in your natural environment. They want to see who you are so they can align with you. And they don't want to align with some fake figure. They want to align with the real you. So figure out what that is and do that well. And then I think the very last thing, which is, again, in alignment with what we're doing today, is be okay with a lot of visibility. Today, you've got to be visible. When an agent comes to me and says they don't want to be on social media and they don't want to do this and they don't want that, I'm like, okay, you don't have to be, but this is going to be a lot harder.
Right.
You want to move your business forward. You're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have more than just grandma and grandpa and your aunts and uncles on your social media.
Right.
You're going to have to expose yourself. So get used to visibility. Get used to it. Because that's what our market demands today.
That's good.
So Jen, I want to ask you this question. So you've talked about coaching. So what do you feel is the number one or number two, one or two things that makes agents quit this business?
A lack of tenacity. On my most recent episode of my podcast, I was talking to Rachel, one of my agents, about tenacity. And I believe that this is a 90-day business. You guys know that, right?
Okay.
But it's 90 days from the day that you get serious.
Yeah.
All right. It's not 90 days from the day you get your license and a magic fairy dust sprinkles upon you and suddenly the 90-day clock starts ticking. That is not how this works. You get licensed, you go through your onboarding, you get ready for a couple months, you put all your plans together, you work through your fears, you go on vacation. While you're on vacation, you reevaluate your life. You're not sure you want to do this. You come back, you get sick. You know how this goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I have watched so many agents come in this business and take 6 months to get serious. So caveat is it's 90 days from the day you get serious. So if you calculate That's 90 days from the day you get serious and you go all in full time, like with consistent effort.
Yes.
Mhm.
You calculate that you have to add in all that prep time and all that get your self ready time. It's 6 months, 9 months before anybody starts seeing a result. I'm not talking about a closing, results. You
Yes.
start seeing the phone, people answer. You start seeing your skills improve. That's a long time to do a job without seeing
Well, no
results.
money. Yeah.
Long
Yeah.
time. Most people simply cannot do it. They check mark, that didn't work for me,
Mm-hmm.
before they gave it time.
That's good.
Got you.
And that's tenacity. That's saying I'm going to stick with it even though it's not working.
That's good.
And trust the
Good.
process.
Trust the process.
And that is why I think most people quit.
So let me ask you one more question. So I posted something yesterday, and I don't know if you saw it, but it talked about be more productive and less busy. So I want to know from you, what do you define as busy work?
Yep.
And
Productive.
Yep. No,
because I asked that question because
Yeah.
I asked agents, hey, what you doing, man? I'm so busy.
I'm busy.
I'm busy. And I'm like, okay,
Doing what?
Like,
what
are
does
you
that
doing?
mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Well, I think
I wanna know
busy
for you.
is banned from our vocabulary. I think it's a stupid word. I don't like it. This is real talk. I don't like the word busy. I think it's an excuse to not return phone calls. I think it's an excuse to be a bad wife or a bad husband. I think it's an excuse to not be a great realtor. I think it's an excuse to not show up to your training. I think it's an excuse. Busy is sloppy.
Right. Because you pretty much could put that word in any beginning of something and you would think you're okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you show up to that meeting? Oh, I was busy.
Yeah. You know, you ask people, how you been? Like when I get the response, I'm like, how have you been? When I get the response, I'm so busy. I'm like,
busy.
I don't even want to hear about it. I don't even want to hear about it. Let me hear what you've been doing, you know? So busy, I really, really try not to use that word ever.
Okay.
And when someone says to me, hey, do you have a minute? I know you're really busy. I'm always like, whoa, no, I make time for what matters to me.
Yes.
That is the truth. I am prioritized and I am very focused on my goals, but I am not too busy for the things that matter to me.
Right.
So busy is an excuse for us not being our very best selves. It's very sloppy, and I think we should ban it. Okay.
Good.
So can we all agree we're just going to ban that from the website?
We're done.
Ban busy.
Okay. There's another word I want to ban too. If you guys want to know, I'll tell you what that one is. But
please tell us.
Sure.
Well, I don't want to get us off track because I haven't really answered your question, but the word exhausted. I hate the word exhausted. You ask people how they are. I'm exhausted. I'm like, get some rest. Because exhausted is another excuse, another reason why people don't want to show up well to life because they're exhausted. We'll do something about that.
Right.
Exhausted doesn't happen to you. You allow it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't like that word either. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. But you asked about busy versus productive.
Yeah.
Productive has fruit.
Yes.
Productive has fruit. Productive produces something. Productive is trackable. Productive has results. Productive feels good. Productive doesn't need excuses. Productive isn't an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a big difference between busy and productive.
Right.
Now, I will also say, I've coached a lot of high producing agents over the years. And I will say, this is an unpopular opinion, but I think a lot of people are addicted to being busy.
Absolutely.
It's an addiction, especially in our society, and especially women. I know we're speaking to some dudes here, but to my ladies listening, we're addicted to it.
Yeah.
It's good to stay busy. It makes us feel some kind of like importance or something. But
it's amazing. Maurice, do you remember that conversation you and I just had?
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes, even in this industry, you get that productive versus busy because there's going to be some downtime. There's going to be some times where you're thinking to yourself, what am I doing? Like, all my production is done. What do I got going on? So you put yourself in this mode thinking 9 to 5, I need to be busy.
Yep.
So you'll fill up your time with just busy work.
Yep.
So therefore, at the end of the day, you can say, whew, I was busy today.
Yep.
But were you productive?
I am worthy.
There you go. Right.
I'm busy. I am worthy.
Busy. Right. Because you don't want to have that conversation with somebody else and they ask you, so what you do today? And you're like, well, I was done in 2 hours. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. So therefore, you do it for them. Well, let me tell you all this other stuff that I did.
Yeah.
Try to justify it.
Yep.
Got
Yeah.
you. So,
Well, to me, the mark of success, which I have not arrived, but the mark of success to me is white space on my calendar
There you
while
go.
still producing the income that I want. That is the mark of success to me. And guess what? I can do what I want with my white space. I can go start another business. I
Yeah.
can impact more lives, or I can sit on a beach and read a book.
Yeah.
I get to choose. And that is success to me. Now, that may
Yeah.
not be to everyone, but that is it to me.
got you.
My
And-
success, I want to be able to get to the point where money's coming in. I'm sitting on the beach in Bali somewhere
Absolutely.
and not have to worry about what's coming in. It's coming.
It's coming. And you got that
coming.
trust and you got that belief. And, you had the hustle when you needed the hustle.
That's
And you can always have the hustle again if you want it.
That's good.
But I want to be in control of my schedule. To me, that means success. And that's what I strive for all the time. So busy doesn't fit into that. Busy keeps me from that. And if I feel busy, if I'm starting to feel that frenzy busy coming, then I got to do something. Something's got to change.
So let me ask a follow-up question then. So give me maybe one or two examples of something that agents consider as busy tasks that they think is going to produce fruit that's really just busy work. Can you give us a couple of examples of that?
Well, there's one
I
giant.
see you rolling your eyes, so I see you guys.
I saw that too.
Well, because again, I tend to say unpopular things,
Sure.
but when I coach people through this and they listen and they actually do it, they see the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not going to be popular. And unfortunately, I'm not in a popularity contest. I'm in an impact. I want to impact lives. And This is how we do it. But number one thing that holds agents back is their phone. It's answering every phone call that comes in and every text message, feeling like you have to answer those when they come in.
Mm.
That is not freedom, my friends. That is not freedom. If you are trying to compete with technology, you will lose every time. We are not technology. We are not available 24/7. That is a lie. We do sleep, we do eat, we do go to the bathroom. We are unavailable at times. So don't tell people that. Set the standard with your customers that these are your available hours for phone calls and text messages. Have systems in place to handle emergencies, which, by the way, there are none in real estate, practically, right?
Yeah.
I find that the phone is the biggest reason why agents show up weak. They get a phone call, they step out of trainings to take phone calls. This is not prioritizing the commitment you're making to yourself.
That's good.
And I see people let their day get wrecked over the way they manage their phone. Now, I'm not saying don't be customer service oriented. I'm not saying don't make your customers a priority. But my perspective on this is if you're available to everyone's whims whenever they want, that is going to drain your energy, which makes you less amazing for them. When you can approach your customers on your timetable as a professional, then you can show up with the right frame of mind and the right time blocking and the right energy and the right, fewer distractions to be who they need you to be in that moment, as opposed to answering them on the fly while you're picking up another call. Why do we do that to ourselves?
Yeah.
Where did we sign in our code of ethics that we had to answer all calls and all text messages within 1 minute? There's nowhere that it says that.
Right.
So be a professional and return your calls at a certain time, return your texts at a certain time, and it'll be okay. I've never lost any business because of that.
That's good. Let me follow up, and I know you probably got some more to say. Let me kind of follow up since you're talking about technology. How do you balance the need for like innovation, technology, but still maintain the integrity of that human touch? Like, how do you navigate around that?
Well, I don't know that I'm the best person for that because I haven't embraced the AI stuff. I'm not there. I mean, hopefully I'll get on board because I don't want to get left in the dust. But
sure,
I really believe that there is somewhere between systematizing, using technology to systematize communication and customer service and all of those things. And then there's the personalized approach to each unique person. There is somewhere between that a person needs to find. I don't know what that is. For me, it's always about planning my communication with my customers and over communicating. When I plan communication with them and I communicate when they're going to hear from me, that tends to solve that problem, if you will. As long as you're proactive in your approach, you keep a personalized approach. Okay. And technology is an enhancement to that. All the innovation is an enhancement to your experience, the experience you want the customer to have. A book I read that has changed the way I look at business is a book called Fans First. I don't know if you've read it. I highly recommend everyone read it. And it's about the Savannah Bananas and how they took baseball and they turned it into something totally different. They turned it into a whole new experience. And if you guys Google, if you don't know, the Savannah Bananas, you can't even get tickets to see the Savannah Bananas now. And they're just a baseball team, but they create a customer experience. So how can each one of us create a customized experience where the consumer says, man, I love doing business with Chris. Man, I can't wait to do another deal with Maurice because I felt a certain kind of way, an experience, have an experience with you. And in fact, that's kind of the pivot we're taking here at Game Changer Realty is, we want to help agents produce, but what we really want is for them to have a productive experience where they feel the experience, not just walk through it and go through the motions. And so I don't know if I answered your question, but using systems and technology to enhance that is really, nothing is going to replace you and the experience you can give a human being. Nothing. So don't let technology do it. And if you create an experience that's so uniquely you, technology can't touch it. So create that experience, whatever that is, and then use technology to push it out, to enhance it, and to enhance you.
Got you.
I do have a follow-up.
Go ahead.
So how do you maintain, with all the technology, all the different things that's going on in this world, we're constantly being bombarded with the new this, the new that, the new this, the new that. How has Jennifer maintained, I know you're not in the production, but how have you maintained to make sure that your agents don't get so caught up in the weeds of all this new stuff that's coming out? How have you maintained that?
So it's very simple. We focus on the agent's first 5 units. We believe that the only technology you really need, if you were given no other options, is this right here.
The phone. We
believe that the agent has within their means already in their hands their first 5 sales. It's either someone they know or a referral from someone they know. Okay. So when they come on board with us, they make an agreement. They're not going to go after shiny objects. They're not going to go chase squirrels. They're going to stay focused on the plan and the program for the allotted time that they're with us. And we help them use the tools they have without spending money and without spending time on things that may or may not work for them. Once they've done those 5, then it's strategically choosing anything else at that point, 1 or 2 things. But my agents are under strict orders that if they're going to spend more than $50, they have to come run it by one of us. And 9 times out of 10, the answer is don't do it. I have agents screenshot emails from different advertisements. I've gotten in the habit of just going, no, don't do it. Because none of those things matter, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, you don't need much. You need to be focused on the bare essentials of getting yourself up and running. Nothing replaces you. So get your butt out of the chair and go out and talk to people. 5 a day. That's the goal. 5 a day. Go talk to people. Wear your name tag. Have a CRM. If you don't have a CRM, at least have them in your phone. At least have them in a spreadsheet. And work with the basics until you get this thing moving. Now, once you get it moving, then you get the right to start looking at options about what you could do.
Gotcha.
So just go ahead, Maurice. Go on.
Yeah. I want to really. I know we kind of about to.
We got to do a whole other show. Jennifer, you got another hour and a half.
I'm all yours, y'all.
So I want to kind of talk about. You talked about Game Changers, so I want to talk about what Game Changers is doing. If you can talk about it here, doing that is different than most other brokerages that are in the market right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you about Game Changers, but I'm also going to tell you about something brand spanking new that no one else knows. This will be my first time announcing it.
Oh, wow. We get the exclusive?
You get the exclusive? Y'all heard it right here on Real Talk and Real Estate. Y'all heard it.
Real Talk and Real Estate. Yes. So Game Changer Realty is a brokerage here in Jacksonville, Florida, and we hire new licensees and we help them get their first 5 sales. That's generally what we do. That's in a nutshell what we do. We have a program called 5 and 5 that an agent goes through. The goal of the 5 and 5 program is that the agent will have 5 deals in their pipeline or closed or some variation thereof within 5 months. That's the goal. And so that's our entire focus. And we do that through an experiential learning process that isn't just sitting and learning, even though there is some sitting and learning, but there's a lot of experiential things. So for example, we just launched a new game called The Real Deal, where it's a 30-day in the field training. That's a mock transaction that has 14 players that go out and they do a mock transaction from the day that the buyer finds the house to the day they close. We walk the whole thing. Every week they pick a card, they get curveballs. It's so much fun. We're having a blast.
That's good.
So called The Real Deal. Be looking for that. Hopefully hitting the stores soon. Nowhere near production yet, but I do see this turning into a board game one day.
We want in.
What's that?
I said, we want in.
Okay. Y'all come on in. I am serious about this. Like, I have been running this for about 3 weeks here in the brokerage, and the experience these agents are getting from The Real Deal, which is where the name came from, it's pretty amazing. It's been revolutionary in terms of like conversations we're having and training that we're able to produce. So that's the skinny, like that's the simple version. Is we create an experience that the agents can learn by doing, by being, and then we create a culture where everyone's going through the same things you're going through, so we can all be real here, and we can all be labor and be moan, and just like sometimes you just need to say this is hard, and we all get it. We get it. We're here with you, and so that's our brokerage.
Got you. Okay.
Now the new thing that I'm excited about is, pretty soon, like in the next month or two, we're opening up our training program to all brokerages. And agents can join our training without having to be at our brokerage. They can come to our training and be part of our some of the stuff that we're doing here. There's a monthly membership and a referral that's included in all that. So there is a cost. It's not free. But if somebody doesn't want to join Game Changer and they are at a brokerage they really like, but maybe they're not getting the training they need, or the broker doesn't have those resources, they can use us as that platform. So we are opening that. Yeah. So the place, my office that you came to, is our brokerage, but it's actually going to become a talent development center. Is what we're going to be renaming it, a talent development center, and it's going to be a real estate talent development center. And so we're going to be using an in-person facility to do real estate training in Jacksonville. So vendors can use it, brokers can use it, and we're going to be using it. And it's just going to be.
I don't know if you said this in the beginning, Maurice. Are you a licensed instructor as well?
Well, I was a licensed instructor. Yes, I am. My license lapsed because of a health issue that I had, and I couldn't do my CE a couple of years ago. So I'm going back this September to renew my license. But I am technically a Florida instructor.
Okay.
And we'll be doing that again next year.
You're gonna open up a school, and then you have the school as a part of the brand?
No, well, yes, we are. We're looking at opening a real estate school, but the Florida instructor is more teaching Florida curriculum for CE.
I got you.
And that's for Florida realtors.
Okay.
So that's what the Florida instructor is.
I got it.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to go back. I know you were talking about. I know we don't have that much time, but you were talking about. I think this would be really, really good for some of the agents that's coming on here. Joanna Torres says this is my favorite podcast. It's on fire. Amy Marie Cobb says changed my life. Jessica Adams, she said this is absolutely great. Jessica Adams again says time block your schedule and life. So we have a lot of people that's listening to the podcast. You're talking about that. A part of the actual training that they go through is they have to go out and touch 5 people per day. Can you expound upon that? What does that look like? What's the results? What are they saying in these conversations?
So it's 5 people a day about real estate. It's a 2-way conversation. Okay. Now that can be face-to-face, voice-to-voice, thumb-to-thumb. Okay. So they can, it used to be, back in the olden days when I was in real estate, it was voice-to-voice conversation, but we realize that today that's not exactly the way people communicate. So meet them where they are. If a text comes through, 2-way conversation about real estate, 5 of those a day. They can be a stranger at Publix whose name you didn't get, or that could be your very best friend you had lunch with, and anyone in between. It's 5 conversations a day about real estate. Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
That's simple. Yeah. That compound effect done over time, I can't do the math for you right now, but it's over time, done over a year, shows to produce 25 units done over time. If you do that consistently, 25 contacts a week, you're going to get better at your conversations. So you may start out and be kind of shaky and rusty, but you do that over time and you just keep doing it and you make that a habit, like brushing your teeth every day. Like you don't go to bed without brushing your teeth. You don't leave the office. You don't leave your office without talking to 5 people a day about real estate.
And these are not necessarily always got to be brand new people. These are just people that could be in your contacts. These are through your phone.
Yep.
That type of
This
thing.
could be a realtor in Ohio that's a referring it. You know, you could call and say, hey, you know anybody in Jacksonville that you would refer your business to? No, I don't. Well, great. Now you do. Take down my number and I'd love to take down yours. What city are you in? Tell me about your market. That's one of those conversations. It could also be a conversation with your plumber that says, hey, Mr. Plumber, if you had a customer that was going to sell their home, what agent, it doesn't have to be me, but what agent would you automatically think of to refer them to? He might say you. Great. That's awesome. He might say Chris Allen. And you might say, well, Chris is awesome. And if Chris is not available, could I be your second choice?
She's dropping nuggets, y'all. Y'all better be writing this down.
But see, what Chris doesn't know is if you put that person on a follow-up plan and you lead generate them and you court them the same way you would a buyer or seller, before you know it, I'm taking Chris's place.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Chris isn't doing that. Chris probably is.
Chris is doing that.
I'm talking about a different Chris.
Right, another Chris.
But you know, the likelihood is when you lead generate these people and keep them on a follow-up, now they start seeing you as the authority in real estate. And the next time you've created mind share now for yourself. And the next time they're in a house and the person says, man, we're about to put our house on the market. Oh, I have an agent for you.
Right. Yeah, that's good, Jen.
Gotcha.
That's good. A lot of times people are always talking about they're not coming up with leads. They can't get, new people in their funnel. But what you just dropped was a nugget. Like you have so much business out there, but you have to be able to open your mouth and just talk to different people about the industry. It may not be somebody in your contact list, but because you established that conversation about who do they know, that can go into your funnel. That's
right. It doesn't have to be a hot buyer and a hot seller.
Right.
In fact, I would argue that 95% of the people you talk to are in no way, shape, or form going to buy a house anytime soon or sell a house anytime soon.
Right.
Yeah.
It isn't about that. So I teach our agents that there are 3 outcomes to every conversation. And this is probably the gold in these conversations. Number 1, and these are in order of priority. Number 1 is an appointment. That's an outcome. Hey, this person wants to meet with me to buy or sell. Yay, you just struck gold. That doesn't happen very often. Pat yourself on the back, keep it moving.
Right.
All right, you got an appointment. The second outcome of a conversation with someone is a referral. That's the next best thing. Hey, you know what? I know someone that needs to know you. All right, great. Their name and number. That's the second outcome. The third outcome from a conversation you're having is that you deepen the relationship. Okay, so even if none of those others happen, none of those other two things don't happen, if you deepen the relationship and secured yourself in their mind as a realtor, one step closer to being their realtor of choice, which is what you did, that is an outcome. There is a fourth outcome. We don't talk about it very often, and I don't put it in my training. But the fourth outcome is that they tell you to go to hell. And they're like, I don't want to work with you. Don't ever call me again.
I was trying to clear out my base anyways. I was trying to clear it out anyways.
You did what? Yeah.
I was trying to clear out their friend's base anyways.
Exactly. Well, I don't want to waste my time on you. So bye.
Right.
Not everybody's your people. So let them go. That's the fourth outcome. And by the way, y'all listening here, that rarely happens. People are generally speaking good, and they don't want to hurt your feelings. There are the real jerks out there that want to hurt you and say mean things because they have their own issues. It's nothing to do with you. And they're rare. They don't come around that often.
That's good.
Don't worry about those people. They don't define your success. Let them go. So focus on those 3 outcomes. Those 3 outcomes are the 3 things that are going to happen anytime you talk to someone. If only the third one happens, you're still winning.
That's good.
Got you. So really quick. I know we pressed for time. I know you got other stuff to do.
We're doing another one.
Hey, so what is your feeling of bringing in the Ford method when these 5 and 5 conversations? So if you don't know what Ford means, for those that are listening, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. What do you feel about bringing that method into the conversation and not just going directly into just real estate talk?
Well, I don't ever just go straight into real estate talk. It's always got to be. It's always
got it.
It's always you set it up for that to happen, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the opportunity presents itself, and sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, listen, every conversation you're having should not be about you. First of all, the customer wants to know what's in it for them. Right? Talk about their family, their occupation, their recreation, their dreams. What's going on with them?
Yes.
Be sincere and authentic and curious about them. Listen to them. Make a note of what they said, what they're dreaming of, what they want to do. And then in a month from now, when you talk to them again, remember it. That's the magic.
Yes.
Okay. Because how often do people do that to us where they actually hear us? It doesn't happen very often. So when someone does that, it's really impactful.
Yes.
And so, always start the conversations with that, and then let it naturally lead to what you're doing and what they're doing, and let it be.
That's good. That's good.
You had something else, Chris? I know you want to ask another question. You got to burn.
No, I do, but it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going. So I'll reserve it, and we'll do another show.
Well, I'm about to have you guys on my show too, so
absolutely,
we will be there. We will be there.
Absolutely.
Man, this has been an absolutely amazing show. Jennifer, you came with it. You came and you dropped nuggets. I'm over here writing notes. I'm like, oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Way to go in being authentic and just letting it all on the line. And we so appreciate you and your candidness and everything that you're doing. You stole my idea, by the way, because back in 2002, I wanted to open up. I said, I was thinking to myself, man, we need to have a brokerage. And the only thing they did was just train brand new agents. And that was 2002. But of course, life happens. And so I'm glad that God gave it to you, because I probably couldn't have done it just like you did it. So
you would have done it your way, and it would have been. But I mean, you are doing it. You are doing it now.
Yeah, good stuff. But it's good. And
absolutely.
Way to do it. Way to do it.
One last thing before you go, Jen, can you give us your final thoughts, whether it be to new agents, seasoned agents, something that impactful they can take with them? If they haven't listened to anything else on this show, something that you can give them to say, okay, hey, this will change your business, your life, whatever you have going on.
Yeah, I have so much to say about that.
Yeah.
If I haven't said it already, I hereby grant you, listener, permission to be 100% you. Do not be Chris. Do not be Maurice. Do not be Jennifer. You. Step into who you are. And if you don't know, you need to get quiet and still enough to listen to that. Ask the questions of yourself. Who am I, and what do I truly want with my life? And you are given permission. Even though I have no authority, I am just representing the authority.
There you go.
You have permission to be that person.
That's good.
You have you have permission to be that person in your social media. You have your permission, my permission, our permission, the permission to be that behind closed doors, in your quiet time, to just let your true self be unleashed. I know that's very cliche. And I also want to say that if what you truly want doesn't look like what everyone else is doing, that is okay too.
That's okay.
In fact, it's a good sign.
That's good.
So be willing to do things unlike anyone else. You may not fit in. That's a good sign. Go do it anyway. Find people you fit in with, people that will embrace your authenticity at your brokerage or in a coaching group or with these awesome guys. Find people that just say, hey, you're awesome. I can see you doing this, this, and this. Find those people. They're out there. They believe in you and they want that. So go be that as best as you can be every single day. Leave it all in the field. Change your game. It will change your game.
Hey,
that's good.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Hey, that
was good.
Another great show. Another great one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So yeah, when we definitely got to do a follow up, a part 2.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Okay, we gonna call upon you. So
I hope you will. I'll be disappointed if you don't.
We will. And if there's anything that we could do for you,
absolutely,
please don't hesitate. Reach out. We're there.
I know. I believe it. I love having you guys in my corner. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share everything that's in my heart with your listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you as well. And tell Mr. Jeff I said what's up.
I sure will. Make him listen to this.
He better be.
Once again,
All
thank
right,
you again for showing up. Be blessed, okay?
All right,
blessed.
thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Until the next time, don't talk about what we got. Another show next week, Maurice.
Be about it. We got Mr. Roberto Paredes. Is that how you pronounce
Okay.
his name?
Good stuff. I think it's like you said. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah. So that's it, man. We got him next week, and we're gonna keep the show rolling, man.
Keep the show rolling. That will be episode at what? That's episode.
I lost count. I know.
We booked up. We up until all the way until November.
Yep.
November.
Yep.
Man, another awesome show, my brother. So listen, next time, guys, don't talk about it. Be about it. We love you guys. We out. Peace.